everyone, my name is Ellen and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to play Free Fallin' by Tom Petty on the guitar. So stay tuned if this is something that you'd like to learn. And really quick before we jump into the tutorial, I wanted to take a second to thank today's sponsor, Boroughs Guitars. If you're looking for a quality beginner guitar that is both durable and beautiful while still having an affordable price tag, consider a Boroughs. Designed in and named after the 5 boroughs of New York City, these are the perfect starter guitar for anyone excited to begin their music journey. Not only are they super easy and fun to play, but these guitars are the best you'll find at this inexpensive price point. With 6 different models and several finishes to choose from, you'll be sure to find the one that fits your personality and musical tastes perfectly. Best of all Boroughs guitars ship directly and exclusively from Auditorium, a trusted site for all your creative needs. So if playing guitar is something you or a loved one have been considering, check out the links in the description box and get started today. So I'm going to go ahead and classify this song as beginner friendly. The hardest thing that you're going to have to encounter is probably the strumming rhythm. But before we get into any of that, let's go ahead and talk about our guitar. You will need to be in standard tuning and go ahead and put your capo on the 1st fret to have it in the same key as the original song. I only have 3 chord shapes to show you today, and you can use those 3 chords to play through the entire song, so it makes it super beginner friendly, as well as 3 different variations of strumming that go from like easier to harder, so you can kind of choose what level you're at. But with all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial and we'll start with the chords. Alright guys, so I've zoomed in a little to take a closer look at these chords. Like I said, there are only 3 shapes you need to know to play through the entire song, and we're going to start with our E major, which looks like this and sounds like this. And by the way, if you don't know how to read these chord charts that you're seeing on screen, I do cover how to do that in my beginner series, episode 3, so I will make sure to link that right here for those of you who need it. The next chord is our A suspended 2. And then the last chord is our B suspended 4. Before we move on, I wanted to show you guys 2 quick little tips. Between our E major chord and our A suspended 2 chord, an easy way to transition there is just to take your middle and ring finger and move them each down 1 string, and that makes that transition really easy. The second tip that I have is that in the A suspended 2 and your B suspended 4 chord, you do not want to pick the bottom low E string when you're strumming. So something you can do with your A suspended 2 chord is take your thumb, wrap that around your neck of your guitar here, just gently, lightly press that low E string, and that will mute it. So when you strum the whole chord, you don't hear that low E string. If you do hear the E string, it's part of the chord anyway, so it's really not that big a deal if you play it. And then same with that B suspended 4 chord. Since you're fingering it this way, you can take your middle finger and lightly just press it there. That'll mute that string as well. So when you strum the whole thing, you're only hearing the strings that you need. But again, if you strum this low E on accident, it's part of the chord anyway, so it really doesn't sound that bad. But just some quick tips to share with you guys on transitioning and muting those strings. So go ahead and take a few minutes to pause the video, memorize those chord shapes, practice those little tips if you would like to, and just get used to transitioning between your chords back and forth. That'll really make the rest of this song so much easier if you can do those transitions quickly. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into these strumming patterns that I want to show you. So the first strumming pattern is super simple. As you can see, it's just 1 single down strum, and all you want to do is basically use this down strum to sing through the song and really take mental notes of what word you're singing whenever those chords are changing. It doesn't really change throughout the song, so if you can do the single down strum pattern, the other 2 patterns will be a little bit easier for you as well. So a quick example of how that would sound would be like if we have verse 1 here on screen. You just want to do each of these chords with 1 single down strum. So we have E to A suspended 2, to A sus 2, E, and then B suspended 4. So this rhythm is really important for you to get down now with your single down strum. It goes. Alright, so you can see the second A suspended 2 into your E chord. That's going to go a little bit faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alright. right? So just make sure that you get that rhythm down. If you're familiar with the song at all, this should be pretty easy for you, but just make sure that you have that kind of feel going, because that'll stay true throughout the rest of these strumming patterns as well. So with some singing in there, it would sound like this. She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus, and a mother too. All right? So basically you want to repeat that for the entire song. Just really get used to what word you're singing whenever those chords are changing. Get used to that rhythm and things like that. This is actually a strumming pattern that you can use to play through the entire song if you are at the beginner level and that's all you can handle. It actually sounds pretty good. But where I actually like to use it is the intro and the first verse. You can hear in the song that it's very plain and simple when it starts out, so that's where I like to use this strumming pattern. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the second strumming pattern. Alright guys, so the second strumming pattern I have to show you today is just 8 down strums, and it's going to sound a little something like this. Now this strumming pattern is going to be kind of the more medium level strumming pattern. It's not too much harder than the first one, but basically the thing that makes this harder is that we are going to have to change chords in the middle of this strumming pattern. So let me go ahead and just put a few vertical lines here, and basically what this is going to represent is where we have to change chords during an entire kind of round of these chords. So when you're on your E chord, you're going to go down, down, down. Then at that second vertical line, you're going to switch over to your A suspended 2 and finish it out. Down, 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 down. And then here, when we go from A sus 2 to E to B suspended 4 really fast, that's where this other vertical line is going to come into play. So now you do your first down strum on A suspended, then you do the next 2 on your E, and then you do your last 5 on your B suspended 4. It may not make much sense when we're not going in rhythm, so let me go ahead and put all of this together to show you how this would sound together. So we have E, A, E, B, E, A, E, B, down, 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 down. So again, you could use this strumming pattern for the entire song as well. It's not that much harder than the first one, and it does sound pretty good with the song as well. But where I actually like to use it in my cover is on the 4th verse, kind of when he's talking about, writing her name in the sky and things like that. It gets a little bit more rhythmic and drummy there, and so that's where I like to use this strumming pattern, as well as in the instrumental break right at the end, right before the last chorus. But I'll make sure to go through all of this at my playthrough at the end. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about our last third strumming pattern. Alright guys, so our third strumming pattern is going to be quite a long one. So here it is. As you can see, it's down, down, up, up, down, 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 up, and then down, 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 up, down, 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 up. So the whole thing is going to sound like this. Now I know all of that might seem a little overwhelming, but don't worry, we are going to break this down. As you might have guessed, this is kind of like the hardest way to play the song, but I do think it sounds the most accurate to the way that he plays it as well. So basically, let's just go ahead and focus on one half of this strumming pattern first. So we have down, down, up, up, down, 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 up. I'm going to go ahead and put a vertical line here in the beginning half. That again is going to represent where we're changing strings. So just for this first half, we're just focusing on the E to the A suspended 2 chord. What you want to do is do the E chord on the first 2 down strums, down, down, then switch to your A suspended 2 and finish out the rest of this pattern. Up, up, down, 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 up. Alright, so without stopping, it sounds like this. And And so that's that rhythm. Let's go ahead and look at the second half of the rhythm here. So here again, I'm gonna put 2 vertical lines. So it's gonna go down, line, and then the rest of it, down, up, down, down, up. This again is going to represent where we're changing chords. So now let's look at the second half of our little round of chords. We have A suspended 2 to E to B suspended 4. What you wanna do is play your A suspended 2 one time on that first down strum. Then you're gonna play your E chord one time on that second down strum. And then you're gonna finish out the rest of this pattern with your B suspended 4 chord. All right, so again, without stopping, it would be like this. So down, 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 up, down, 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 up. A, E, B. So again, I know that this is super, kind of intense. So if you're a beginner, feel free to stick with strumming pattern 1 or 2. But with strumming pattern 3, this is kind of the way that it sounds the most like the original song. And so if you can get this memorized and broken up, correctly in your head and like figure that out, it actually does come pretty naturally if you are familiar with the song. So let's go ahead and put both halves of this strumming pattern together to see what the whole round of chords would sound like. We're gonna start on our E, down, down, up, down, 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 up, to the next half, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. All right, again without me talking. Hopefully you can kind of hear the song coming together. E, A, E, B. She's a good mama, loves Jesus, this is going to take a lot of practice, I think, to get used to that rhythm and kind of feel it and internalize it before you can put in some singing. But this is something that can work for the entire song as well. So for the chorus, that would sound like this. Now I'm free. Again, just make sure to pause the video and just take some time to memorize, the up and down motions and really take some time to get used to how that sounds. Something I will say is that whenever you're playing guitar and you plan on doing a cover where you're gonna sing with your guitar playing, the best advice I have for that is to get used to a rhythm that you naturally are feeling. So if this strumming pattern that I have written here is confusing or doesn't make sense to you, feel free to make it your own, add in your down and up strums wherever you see fit. This is just kind of like the basic way that I can hear the strumming pattern in the song, so take that for what it's worth. But when I actually play through it, sometimes I'll actually find myself adding in extra down or up strums without really even realizing, and that's okay. Like, you want to kind of develop your own ear for this kind of stuff and figure out how to do strumming on your own. But here is the basic outline that I have to provide for you, and if you wanted to stick with this, you could play that for the entire song as well. It sounds really great. But with all of that being said, let's go ahead and put all of this together to play through the song. 1, 2, ready, go. She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus and America too. She's a good girl who's crazy about Elvis, loves horses and her boyfriend too. Want to have fun jamming out to the rest of the song with me? Then make sure to check out my Patreon page where you can unlock access to this as well as all my other fast track and play along guitar tutorials. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description box down below as well as in this iCard right up here. Alright guys, but I think that concludes this video, so I really hope that it helped. If it did, make sure to give me a thumbs up down below as well as subscribe to my channel, that way you never miss out on any other new guitar tutorials. Another huge thank you goes out to Boroughs Guitars for sponsoring this video, as well as a special shout out to all of my top patrons over on my Patreon page. I will make sure to list all of their names on screen right now. And of course, a big thank you to all of my patrons for supporting my channel and making videos just like this one possible. You guys are awesome. Here are my social media sites in case you'd like to follow me on any of those. That's just where I do fun things like behind the scenes looks at things coming up. I'll poll you guys on what you want to learn next, and I'll even do giveaways on there a few times a year, so make sure to check it out. But I think that concludes the video today, so thank you so much for watching. I really hope that it helped, and I will see you in my next one coming out really soon. Bye!